Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Sports. My name is Mark, and you've been joining me for Stormers versus Dragons, and it's going to be a very interesting matchup. Coming to you, I am coming to you at least from Johannesburg, but they are coming from the most bizarre stadium in that they are in Gqeberha. And the reason why they are there is because the Sevens in Cape Town is being set up in their home stadium, and for some unknown reason, they're not going to Stellenbosch. But nonetheless, we've got Stormers versus Dragons, URC action in partnership with our partner BetKoza. So welcome to the stream. Feel free to comment, say what you want. Let's watch the game together. We'll enjoy this game. And yeah, we just kicked off now. I was just having a couple of small issues as well. I was just slightly late. But yeah, we've just kicked off. Stormers get a penalty straight away off the kickoff from Manie Libbok. Back from Springbok action overseas, kicks it out and touch around the halfway line. So we have got action straight away. So Stormers, of course, bolstered by the fact that all the international players are back. So the likes of Manie Libbok is there. Salman Murat, the captain, is back, even though he didn't play, but he was there in reserve. So yeah, welcome everybody to the stream. So just watching now, and Stormers take the line out from there, and they try a backline move. It's sort of come around to the wing. It's not quite worked out for them, however, but you're on the halfway line. Yeah, do let me know in the comments where you're watching from, where you are tuning in. What do you think the score results will be? Predict the score, etc. Yeah, let's just chat rugby today. So Stormers a bit messy in the back there, and chose to kick it out. And so Dragons now coming up with the ball around midfield. Comes the full back, opts for the kick over, goes straight into the 22. It's picked up here. The Stormers are opting to run. Clayton Blommetjies passes it off. Just seeing Stormers, yeah, and I think, yeah, no, so Dragons almost, they're trying to ruck over, and in fact they have rucked over, so now Dragons with the ball inside Stormers half. And, it's almost a deliberate knock-on, a very early deliberate knock-on. It's a big call from the ref to make now, because it's Ruan Null with quite an obvious deliberate knock-on, and whether or not the ref might look at this as there's no opportunity that he's going to catch that ball. I'd be surprised if this only stays as a penalty, because they had numbers, but doesn't seem to be going any further. The ref has deemed it only a knock-on, not even a penalty, which is a bit harsh if I'm a Dragons fan, but nonetheless I'm not. So. Well, we play on. But yeah, we're going to have our first scrum of the game. Looking at pack weights here, we've got Stormers with 885 kgs versus Dragons 896. So Dragons are slightly bigger pack. But of course, Stormers got a lot of strength in their front row on either side of Joseph Dweber, who also comes back from duty overseas. So also another Springbok there in the one and the only Marvin Ori. Ex-Lions player. Not always everyone's favorite player, but certainly did a job overseas in that English game in that first half, in the first 45 to 50 minutes, because he was needed. But yeah, fantastic win by Springboks, obviously, in the game in which he was involved. But now, obviously, returning back to Stormers action to play in the URC. So URC now back up to basically level playing field, and that all the international players are back at their clubs now. So we've got full strength sides. We've got a lot of good talent on show again. So always great to see. But yeah, if you are just joining us, I'm just letting you know again that we are actually playing Gqeberha for some unknown reason. Well, we know that Greenpoint Stadium or Cape Town Stadium is currently being set up for the Sevens coming this next weekend. So they can't play there. But why they're not playing in a different stadium, I don't quite know. But we are all the way in Gqeberha, and we are playing in Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. So yeah, it's a new place for the Stormers to be playing. But yeah, nonetheless, so first scrum there, and there's a penalty against the Stormers. So that's not gone quite according to plans. Dragons, they're getting an early scrum penalty. So we'll probably look to kick it out on the line now. The ball doesn't seem to have gone out at all. There's a shocking penalty kick. Obviously a missed kick of some sort. Clayton Blommetjies receives it and just marks it inside the 22. He now kicks it out, looking for about... That's a much better kick. So it's just over the halfway line from Clayton Blommetjies there. So a bit of a bizarre penalty from Dragons. fly half tried to kick it out and was horrendously mishit. And was just marked in the 22 by Clayton Blommetjies. So, yeah, if you are just joining us, welcome. My name is Mark. I'm taking over for today. I will be doing the Stormers game here. Do we have any Stormers fans in chat? Do we have any Dragons fans in chat? Where are you watching from? Love to know. Do let us know as well. So, yeah, line out taken for the Dragons on halfway line. They've opted for the kick in behind. Looks a good kick. We'll see. It's a great kick. Clayton Blommetjies having to try and recover. And he's been tackled just inside his 22. Oh, he's not been held. So Clayton Blommetjies is continuing running now. And Stormers now. It's Herschel Yankees in the midfield. He's been taken down. Stormers regathering at the ruck. Clayton Blommetjies acting as scrum half here. Passes off to the forwards. He passes straight to Manie Libbok. Straight out. They're trying to spread it out wide. It's taken in the centres. Dragons doing well to hold the ball up inside the Stormers half still. Just outside their 22. They're bashing it up with the forwards now. Joseph Dweber going in now to clear the ruck. And Herschel Yankees looking for the ball here. Ref has blown his whistle. Says ball's not coming out. So it'll be a Stormers scrum from the ruck. So another scrum now coming up. So we'll see if Stormers can do better in this scrum now. But yeah, just so people are aware of some of the news here. Stormers bolstered by the fact that they've got all their Springboks and overseas players back in their team, and most of them into the starting lineup. So it's quite a big boost for them. So they should be quite happy with regards to their playing options today. So going from the back in the full back position, we've got Clayton Blommetjies. In the wings, we've got Tristan Lates and Leland Zas. In the midfield, we've got Ruan Null and Dan Duplessis. Manie Libbok returns as fly half. Herschel Yankees as scrum half. We've got Quenzo Blosse as eighth man. Or slash, no, sorry, in the forward, sorry. Quenzo Blosse as the prop. Joseph Dweber and then Neetling for Sheer on the other side. Salman Murat and Marvin Ori in the lock positions. Well, in the forwards anyway. And Namat Abba, Willy Engelbrecht and Hachiva Daimani making up the rest of the forwards for Stormers. So Stormers win the scrum. It's coming out. Clayton Blommetjies plays it in through, I think it's the Dan Duplessis there. So it's an advantage to Stormers. It's a penalty advantage. So Herschel Yankees tries to split it out to the wing. It's Lates. Passes an infield to Duplessis. It's Lates again. It's a great little piece of play. Oh, it's a brilliant piece of play from Stormers. Oh, and they're coming through the midfield. There's Manie Libbok coming up through. They've just gone past the 10-meter line in Dragons half. Now's the forwards. Comes through. Oh, there's some great rugby being showcased. It's Null. He shifts one player. Oh, no. And it's completely messed up. I think it's Who is that? Oh, dear. It was almost very enterprising play there by the Stormers, but not able to in the end. It was just knocked on. But it's some fantastic rugby being shown there from the Stormers, and they're all reminiscing about the fact that they didn't manage to take a bigger chance out of that, because it was some beautiful rugby to watch. And what is very, very confusing me now is the fact that we do seem to have an early shirt replacement on the field, and I have absolutely no clue who it is now. But we have a number 27 shirt on the field. So I think that must have been a replaced shirt for something either due to a blood injury or the ripped shirt or something. But got a Stormers player down and injured right now, so player stopped. So around the 7th minute here, well, 7:40 minute. Yeah, players currently not playing, but just watching this play again was fantastic rugby for the Stormers. Just great hands basically. It's just keeping the ball alive the whole time. Passes it out to Lates. Lates goes infield to Duplessis. Duplessis gives it back to Lates. Lates then chooses to go back midfield. It's a fantastic little back of the pass. I think it's from Marvin Ori, actually. A little backwards pass out the back of the hands there. And then, yeah, Stormers just continue playing and spreading it across the line. It's fantastic little shove off there from Null. And then, yeah, unfortunately, just a small knock on there by Duplessis right at the end, just outside the Dragons 22. Which ends their attack. But great enterprising rugby by the Stormers. So Stormers fans will be very chuffed to have seen the rugby they just showcased there. It was almost New Zealand-like, you know. It's just keeping the ball alive the whole time in broken play and just not letting the defense set. And yeah. So yeah, another scrum now, unfortunately, because of that knock-on. So Dragons will look to try and retain the possession again and get the ball in their hands again. So just a little stat for you, but the Dragons have lost more scrums than any other team in the URC, getting driven off their own ball 12 times so far this season. So not a powerful scrum. However, today it hasn't really looked too shaky out of the first two couple of scrums we've had, but this set looks a lot better by the Stormers. See, the Stormers are pushing them forward, but not enough. Dragons get the ball out, and they drive it through the middle here. So just looking at the comments here, you bet on Dragons by mistake on Super Boo. Yeah, I don't think it's going to end well for you. The Stormers side is quite a good Stormers side, and of course, Dragons not the best team out of the lot. So unfortunately, I don't think that's going to end very well for you. Yes, Stephen does look different, perhaps because it's Stephen's brother. Stephen is currently playing cricket. I know, cannot believe it. He's giving up his duties here. But yeah, Stephen's playing cricket, so I am taking this game today. And if you guys don't know me, my name is Mark. So say hi to Mark. I am Mark. And I'll say hi back, of course. But yeah, just a penalty there to the Stormers due to, I think, playing the ball on the ground is what the ref has deemed. So the Stormers have kicked it out early for an early attacking line out on the 5 meter of the Dragons line. So we'll see if they can get this maul over. I assume it will be a more. Marvin Ori goes up. He collects it. Joseph Dweber joins at the back. The ball is now shifting backwards towards him. He doesn't seem to be wanting to take the ball yet. He's just pushing forward. Maul's not moving. There's an arm out for an advantage. Herschel Yankee's looking for the ball. He's asking for it. But the Maul is moving forward now. And it's come through the middle. Oh my word. Out of nowhere. I think that's Manie. I just want to see. No, it's not. But out of nowhere in the middle of the Maul, he chooses to dive for the line and gets the try. I'll confirm who it is now. I believe it's Quenzoblose. Nope, it's a early sub. I think there was actually, I need to confirm, I think there were late changes made for the Stormers, but it's not who's supposed to be in the lineup, starting lineup at least. There were some changes that had to be made, clearly. And I just still want to confirm who it is because it's not a Stormers regular, let's put it this way, who's put the try over. Still trying to confirm who it is. They brought it up. Unfortunately, I didn't look. So I'm trying to just confirm. But he's bearing the number 27 shirt, which is quite an interesting one. But yeah, Manie Libbok now looking to go and convert this try. So quite a few fans in the stadium, which is quite interesting to see because, of course, playing in Gqeberha, it's quite far away from Cape Town. The Stormers playing in very different territory than they're used to. But I still think just the Eastern Cape and the Cape in general is they're quite supportive of the Stormers. So I think they will find quite a lot of support. But there's a good, decent crowd there, which is always good to see. So Dylan, your thoughts on Spoon Kossi gone missing? You know, I mean, I think also a lot of it's down to the fact that he got injured. So unfortunately fell out of favor due to injury. But you know, he's a strong winger in that case. So I'm sure we'll see him come back. But it's going to be difficult because the talent in terms of wingers in this country suddenly is insane. We have an unbelievable choice when it comes to wingers. I mean, old Colby gets injured. We've got Kurtley Owens, we've got Conan Moody. I mean, the wingers that we have on choice. I mean, obviously the stalwart in Mapimpi, but yeah, tell you, it's one thing that I think South Africans can't complain about is the choice in terms of wingers, because even if you look to other unions, and even the Lions, they've got some fantastic wingers being produced there. So I think it's a position this country certainly does not have a shortage of, not the same sort of shortage that we see in our fly half positions. So yeah, ball's been kicked off again, and Dragons have got possession, but they've knocked it on just inside the Stormers' half. So yeah, not going well for the Dragons so far. Just about 12 minutes into this game. So yeah, they're going to have to come back to another scrum, and it's a Stormers scrum. So given the fact that the Dragons do have arguably the worst scrum in the whole competition, I don't think this is going to go particularly well for them. So yeah, but everyone watching, please do not be afraid to comment. Say how's it? You know, give me your thoughts. Where you're watching from? That's always very interesting. I always want to see where all of our fans are watching from. So do let us know. I do enjoy that comment, Dylan, saying you're quicker than all of them because you don't want to get crushed by anyone who wants to catch you. Yeah, I agree. You know, you'll suddenly find a bit of extra pace when you see a couple of those players coming towards you. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be setting my eyes on some of these players. But Stormers scrum. Herschel Yankees puts the ball in. Nope. Free kick to Stormers because he opted to just wait because Dragons were pushing before the ball is in. So free kick to Stormers. Be interested to see what they do here because this Dragons scrum is looking very shaky. It's not looking good at all. So I see Burton's coming from Henops River in South Africa. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Yeah, so free kick here to Stormers. I'd be very interested to see what they do here. Yeah, they go for the scrum, not to opt for the punt. That's what I thought they might do because the scrum seems to be working very well so far. Stormers all the way, boys. You can do this. Yeah, well, look, if Stormers don't win this game, I think there's going to be big issues and big infighting, I think, because this should be quite a winnable game for them. Of course, there's no easy games in the URC, but this is one where Stormers head in as favourites. So, especially with their returning Springboks and SAA players and the lot. So, it should be quite a not an easy match, but it should be comfortable for Stormers at least. I mean, even looking to the bench, you've got Dion Freeze back. You've got the legend and Brock Harris still there, still going. Can't believe it, actually. So the Stormers get the scrum again. They're pushing forward nicely, and it's folding, and it's an advantage to Stormers. Herschel Yankees brings it up the midfield. It's come through to Manie Libbok. He opts to go out to the wing. Oh, it's way over late, unfortunately. It's gone out. They'll come back for the penalty. And, yeah. Manie Libbok there just miscalculating his pass off to Lates in the corner. This is, of course, brother Lates. This is Tristan Lates, not Dylan Lates that you might be well used to. It's the slightly smaller brother. But, yeah, not able to get to that ball there. It was a bit far from Manie Libbok. But, yeah, clearly, Dragons just folding in at the scrum there. So, another scrum penalty to Stormers. And they opted to go for the line from just inside their own half. We'll see where the ball ends up now. So, Manie Libbok to kick it again. Stormers fans, I'm sure, will be as pleased as anything to see Manie Libbok back. He's been in great form this season so far. And yet again, showing that form. What a fantastic kick there. Just outside the 5-meter line from inside his own half. What a fantastic kick. Just putting Stormers right on the line. And another big try-scoring opportunity for them, of course. Yeah, tell you. It's an interesting game so far. Dragons not really in it at all. So I think you might see quite a few points on the board soon. But yeah, what a fantastic kick just outside the 5-meter line. So Joseph Dweber now at the ball, as he's a big player. I mean, he's built as anything. Proper truck, Joseph Dweber. But yeah, Stormers looking for the line out here. They chose for the maul earlier. But we'll see if they opt for the same thing because they have been finding success through the back line. Just to answer that question there, is there a betting link today? I actually don't know, unfortunately, because I do not have the facility to set that up, and the people who assist with that are not currently available. So I will try and find out for you. But for now, we'll continue as we are. But Stormers opting for the maul. The maul's worked very, very well, and they're over the line again. But I think, yeah, they've gone over. It's Joseph Dweber with the ball in hand. The maul just worked again. So Stormers roaring into the lead again, more or less keeping up with the minutes on the board. And yeah, 16 minutes in, and we've got 12 points with a kick to come in Stormers' favor. There's a large crowd. There's a large contingent of Stormers fans. So I think they'll be very chuffed with the fact that they've still got quite a big sporting contingency all the way out in the Eastern Cape. But yeah, a very easy try, basically. Just put it in by Dweber, set up the maul, gets to the back, receives the ball, and they just opt to push forward. It was already advantage to Stormers because of Dragons player. I can't see who it is, just dropping through there. But yeah, Stormers managed to break through the middle there, and they just continue moving forward with Murat at the front. And yeah, easy try for Joseph Dweber in the end. Just stretches and does his little celebration with his little beard. So yeah, Manie Libbok, not with the easiest kick coming up here, but with his form, you should back him here. Stormers always produce. Go Stormers. Yeah, well, South African teams in the URC seem to be doing very well at the moment. I think the biggest surprise out of the lot of them, of course, would be the Lions, and the fact that, it's the one team out of all of the URC teams in this country who just do not sign anybody. They always opt for the youngster approach, and I tell you, they found some very talented youngsters, and doing very well so far this URC. I think much to the surprise of most people, Got a game in hand, and they're right in the top half of the log. And with that one game in hand, should they win it, they could move into top 4, top 3. So it's quite impressive. Of course, Stormers, though, being the current reigning champions in the URC, just showing their class at the moment against the Dragons. Dragons really not able to cope as Manie Libbok looks to kick this over. It's looking good. Straight down the center. 14 points. There you go. Boom. Yes, I don't know. Stephen had a doppelganger. Well, you know, brother of Steve, yes, but one hopes better looking. But yes. Yeah, Stephen is playing cricket. I think there's big fines for that. So if you guys should catch him in another stream, just do be sure to remind him that he needs to serve fines for playing cricket instead of watching rugby. And especially if he doesn't go and score runs today, it's a big problem. So yeah, ball's been kicked off again by the Dragons. They're 14 points down already. Stormers regathering there. It's coming through the middle. And yeah, it's eventually brought down. Oh, ball's spilt out, but the ref is saying no. We're going to come back here. What's he calling for? I don't quite know. Is he saying penalty? Penalty indeed. Offsides. Dragons really not enjoying this game so far. 20 minutes in and almost nothing has gone in their favor. They're just giving away penalties left, right, and center. Don't have any possession, really. It's just a very frustrating afternoon out so far. I appreciate it, Derek. I'm glad you like the commentary. I try my best, I tell you. But yes, Manie Libbok taking the penalties, opting for the line again. Not as good a kick as he did previously, but just about the halfway line for the Stormers. So yeah, with possession yet again. So Dragons just being very ill-disciplined at the moment. Yeah, very clearly offsides. The decision given by the touchline ref. So yeah, Dragons already conceded 4 penalties. Stormers 0. So Stormers very much in the driving seat. It's a good line out from the Stormers. They option to use the back line. It comes to Duplessis. Doesn't really manage to make much ground forward. Herschel Yankees now taking the ball out as Marvin Ori chooses to bash it up himself. Makes a little bit of ground, actually. And Herschel Yankees now passing it out. It's the props. Pretty much go straight to the floor. Herschel Yankees barking orders. Joseph Dweber comes in. And so is Ori. I think they're going to go for the box kick. Indeed, he is. And it's on the halfway line. So, it's a fake box kick. Comes to Manie Libbok. Goes out to Duplessis. It looks like Murat's on the wing here, almost. He's driving it up. Giant Daimani gets over it. Herschel Yankees takes the ball out of the ruck again. Oh my word. Big hit in midfield from the forwards there. Yeah, and Dragons giving the ball back cleanly. So now it's counter-attacking opportunity. They spread it quickly, but it's an intercept. Oh no. And Tristan Lates gets the intercept just to make Dragons' day worse. Scores the try. Oh, he doesn't score the try. Whistle's been blown. That's been a knock-on. So they come back for the knock-on advantage. Dragons get away with one there. It was almost brilliant from Tristan Lates, but yeah, they do get away with one there. This is a knock-on. Just seeing where this knock-on happened. Was in the middle collision. I said it was a big collision midfield. He lost the ball in the tackle. Yeah, he did. As he landed on the floor, the ball just slipped out of his hands. Dragons doing very well almost to counterattack there. Did the exact right thing. Just soft hands right across the line, but just the last pass needed to go, and it went to Tristan Late's hands instead of their own. So hence we come back for the knock-on scrum, but we've now got a water break. God, I hate water breaks. Oh, speaking of water break, got water here. I'm going to utilize this. Water break. Boom. Done. Yeah. Just reading some of the fans' things. Stormers, welcome to Gqeberha, champs. You see, people are coming out to go and see their team that they never really have the opportunity to go and see. So yeah, in case, again, I'm going to reiterate a couple of times this thing. We are coming to you from Eastern Cape for the Stormers today in Gqeberha because, yeah, Stormers can't use their own stadium at the moment because in Greenpoint or Cape Town Stadium, whatever you want to call it, it's currently being set up and prepared for the Cape Town Sevens next weekend. So, yeah. Not the first time that Stormers have not played in their home stadium this season, though, because I think a couple of weeks ago they played in... Where did they play? Can't remember where they played. But they couldn't play again in their home stadium because of a concert, I believe. Don't quite understand your comments, Sami Suzo. Or Sami Zuza. Sorry, I don't know. Sorry, I read that way too quickly. But because you're saying South African teams accept the Lions, no doubt enjoying their time in the URC, especially with the favourable time zone and midday afternoon bye. Well, I mean, you know, if you want to go look at a log, I think Lions would be quite chuffed with life right now, if you're reiterating that point, unless you're saying that because the Lions are playing tomorrow. So I don't quite like Sunday rugby. It's a bit of a, it's a down. I'm so used to Saturday rugby from so many years of watching it. You know, Sundays are for relaxing, you know. Not that I complain about having rugby on a Sunday. It is just very odd. But I think you should go and have a look at a log. So I think you might find Lions are doing fairly decently. I think all South African teams can be quite chuffed with life right now. The only team not, of course, probably Sharks, and the fact that they've just had to sack their head coach. And of course, that seemed to have worked in their favor because yesterday they won. So clearly, decision so far working, and the decision is being backed at least by the players. Yeah, I can't stand the water breaks at the moment. Look, it's a temporary solution, I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping with the water breaks. I'm hoping it's a temporary solution because of the instance we're getting into where they were just having breaks for water like every single stoppage and play. But meanwhile, Stormers coming in on the wing here. They pass at midfield, and it's Clayton Blommetjies who's coming forward. There's still a one man to beat. Easy as you want. It's Ruan Null. Gets the try for Stormers. My word, some brilliant play. Sorry, I was talking during that thing, but I was actually watching it, and I was just continuing my conversation just on the left-hand side of my head because the right-hand side was just watching, going, this is quite incredible to watch. Tell you, playing a bit like the All Blacks do, the Stormers at the moment. Some fantastic broken play rugby and just passing it through the back line. Some great enterprising play, I tell you. So Stormers in yet again. So Dragons really are struggling right now. But all happens from a box kick, or a kick anyway from Stormers, and Tristan Lates goes up and manages to win the kick, and then Herschel Yankee takes it out of the ruck, and they just spread the line very quickly. Comes to Hachiva Daimani, who breaks one tackle, passes it through to Null, who then gives it off to the wing, and passes it back in. Comes to Clayton Blommetjies, and then Clayton Blommetjies waits for Ruan Null to take the ball, and boom, they score. All tries have been on the left-hand side of the field so far, which is quite interesting to note. So clearly that's the side they're favouring. But Stormers still doing quite well to keep more or less intact with the timing on the board. You know, it's 22, 23 minutes in. Clayton Blommetjies slots this as 21 points. So Dragons, if they're not careful, they need to try and slow this points onslaught down, because otherwise they're going to be looking at 70 plus. Because at the moment, that's more or less what it's looking like. They are scoring a try every 7-ish minutes, every 7.5 minutes, which is really not great for the Dragons. So it was always going to be a difficult afternoon for them, but it's just looking shocking right now. The Stormers side really are, they're really, really enjoying having their players back, I think, from international duty. They are just showing a different sort of class to the Dragons. Dragons really struggling, and it's a great kick again from Manie Libbok. What is these knees having? Just the comments. Let's just have some comments on Manie Libbok. The season that he is having so far, I mean, unbelievable. Just got frightened by a sound over there. Just came out of nowhere. But only 22 minutes in. Not a bad day at the office for the Dragons, or should we say the drag gone? That's a terrible joke, Dylan. I will not be reiterating it again. That is a shocking joke. Just looking at more comments here. Fair point. Haven't been following the URC enough, focusing on the Bulls and the Stormers. Yeah, you need to need to expand your vision here. Meanwhile, sorry, I'm just seeing here that Dragons have managed to get the ball back from the restart. Was completely mishandled by the Stormers, and so now it's the first real attacking opportunity they've had for like about 20 minutes. Inside the Stormers half, but Stormers doing very well to hold this defense up. Tackle eventually goes down for the Dragons. They're set up. The defensive line's been set up by the Stormers. Dragons really struggling to find any sort of rhythm as well. Stormers are going over. Oh, almost turning the ball over. Dragons just being pushed. Oh, massive hit in midfield. That's going to hurt tomorrow. Dragons trying to spread it across the line. Comes the 8th man. Chags it in. Look, they're doing almost a knock-on for the Dragons. And then eventually it is a knock-on. So, yeah, fantastic defense in the Stormers after the earlier mistake. But, Dragons just not able to get any sort of rhythm going and just messing it up there as they try to spread on the blind side. Just but came to the wing, knocked it on, unfortunately. Just going back to these comments. So good, Stormers need a bonus point. Well, they need one more try, and they've done it. This is our game. Keep doing good so far. Keep it up. Yeah. Tell you, Stormers are very much comfortably. I'll get there eventually. Comfortably in the driving seat. You know, this is very much. If we try to compare cars, it's a bit like a Mercedes being compared to an Opel. You know, there's just a different class right now. The lineouts, they opted for the lineout. Stormers after that little knock on because it did go out. They get the ball here. Looks like Herschel Yankee's going to opt for the box kick. Box kick goes up. Tristan Lates is the one chasing. He's been quite good in the air so far. It's 1-2. This one he's not able to get to, but he makes the tackle. They're trying to hold him up for a maul. He's probably going to be able to. Now he's brought down for a tackle in the end. Dragons doing well there. Dragons seeing a little bit more of the ball now. I mean, granted, not in the best. Oh dear, it's going to be a penalty. Yeah, indeed. And that's a penalty against the Stormers, I think, funny enough, the first one of the match. And it goes against Marvin Ori, who, wasn't rolling away at the ruck. And then when the scrum half tried to take the ball out, hits Marvin Ori's body there. So first penalty to the Dragons. So they're going to try and set up a line out inside the Stormers half and hopefully try and get some attacking play of their own. You know, for the neutral rugby fan, you wanted to try and see the Dragons come back a bit here. But for all those Stormers fans, of which I know there are many watching, they're going to be loving this so far. So yeah, just about 26 minutes gone. And Dragons with their attacking line-out shows. It was a relatively decent kick. It's just inside the Stormers 22. So we'll see what they opt for here. It's not got the best pack, the Dragons. So I think you might well see... Oh, my word. As I say that, not the best pack indeed. As their line-out goes very skew. So their first real attacking opportunity after all these points, and Hooker puts the ball in skew. It sort of sums up their day so far. Not good enough. Really shocking. Oh, it's a shocking throw, by the way. I mean, you sometimes get those 50-50 calls for like, you know what, it's maybe slightly to the side. This one literally veered off like that way. It's gone way off. So it was, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a bit like watching schoolboy rugby with the Dragons at the moment with regards to their attack. Stormers just, yeah, different class, different gravy at the moment. And I'm just completely shocked by this crowd. It's not, it's not 30,000 people, but there's a lot of people in, and it's good to see because since COVID, the crowds at rugby generally, except for the international games, have been really quite low. Unfortunately, they've been quite disappointing, and look, a lot of that comes down to economy, etc., etc., etc. But a lot of these tickets are quite cheap, and it just requires people going out and seeing these games. But it's good to see in a completely different stadium, the Stormers, in a completely different province, a relatively decent sized crowd being brought in. So fair play to Gqeberha. So yeah, Dragons being poor says all about Welsh rugby at the moment, and it's only the first half. Yeah, Welsh rugby needs a serious reality check at the moment. It's not been a great year for them. I mean, yes, they won their first ever game in South African soil. Well, their first game for however many years or whatever it was. But, yeah, otherwise, it's really been a shocking year, really, in rugby terms. I mean, losing to Georgia. Oof, ouch. Anyway, back to this game here. Stormers winning yet another scrum penalty. Boom. Dragons really struggling here. And unfortunately, I think the ref might have to start speaking to them about these penalties, because I think 4 of the penalties given away by Dragons have been in the in the scrum region. So, yeah. Stormers well going to have to be wary of that, and I think they should be opting for the scrum more and more towards the line, and they can try and force a yellow card out of the Dragons, because it really has been quite shocking in terms of their scrums have been garbage so far. There, let's just be honest. We'll be as blunt as we possibly can, and if you're a Dragons fan, I'm sorry I had to say it, but really, they have been shocking so far. Just watching the scrum again. Ball goes in, Stormers holding it nice and high. Boom, and then, yeah, Dragons drops a knee to the ground, loses stability, the whole scrum changes sides. Easy penalty for the ref to call. So yeah, just a halfway line out here to the Stormers. Joseph Dweber to put the ball in. Stormers, their basics have been very good today so far. The tackling has been very good. Their line outs and scrums have been fantastic. And the movement in the back line has also been great to watch, I tell you. And just seeing it here now, trying to see it through, just trying to keep the ball alive the whole time. There's a lot of popping the ball out of the ruck rather than waiting for the scrum half, just to keep the pace of the game up. And the Dragons can't really cope with it at the moment. So we see Herschel Yankee spreads it out to Manie Libbok, who tries to go over the infield, but then has to end up going himself. Herschel Yankee's looking to the blind side. And see, the blindside going to work. He opts to kick it and goes straight out. Not a great option for Stormers. They more or less got they got tangled with each other, if I'm honest there. It was I think Duplessis there and Zas got quite in each other's way. But almost worked because Duplessis managed to get his arms free, but then Zas was so close to him that he just tried to pass it on. I think it came off Zas's chest and then he had to kick it. And surprise, surprise, ladies and gentlemen, Marvin Ori is down and receiving attention from his medical staff. And another news, grass is green. Yeah, so just looking at, I'll tell you, it's a beautiful stadium. The Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. Or whatever it's called these days. You know, they always have these sponsored names and whatever. But it's a stunning stadium. So it's quite a privilege for the Stormers to go and play out here. Not that their home stadium is exactly particularly ugly. You know, Greenpoint or Cape Town Stadium, whatever you want to call it. Beautiful stadium. So they're quite privileged in that regard. You know, it's not quite like the other lot who all have their very old stadiums and some of them falling apart a little bit. You know, you've got the Ellis Park, you've got your Loftus, you've got your Kings Park. I mean, very historic stadiums, don't get me wrong, and very famous, but not the prettiest of the lot. Whereas Cape Town, you know, as Cape Town would, you know, it's all about being pretty, it's all about looks. So, a Cape Town Stadium where they play, and obviously moving from their old stadium, also not the greatest looker in Newlands. Yeah, it's a bit sad that we're no longer playing rugby in Newlands, but still, one can't complain about having to go off to Greenpoint. Oh no, go to one of the most beautiful stadiums in the whole continent. Oh damn. But yeah. Anyway, we find ourselves in Nelson Mandela Stadium today. And yeah, it's a scrum to the Dragons here. Dragons put the ball in. Stormers getting advantage over the scrum, but the scrum has gone down, and the ref has chosen to call the penalty. He wasn't going to originally, but he's calling a penalty yet again against the Dragons. At some point, surely you're going to have to start talking to these guys because, yeah, it's really been horrible at the scrums for the Dragons. That's at least 5 penalties. Surely you're going to start talking to them. Also, just to keep up with the time here, I think surely somebody needs to start looking at the Stormers and saying, where's your try? Because we are now 32 minutes in and they haven't scored another one. They were keeping up with the time at some point, and not anymore. Come on, need to score a try. They've got a line out just inside the Dragons 22 here from their penalty, but they need to convert so they can keep it up. They need to keep up that time. Get another one and they've got a bonus point. And I'll tell you something, bonus point in the first half was quite a statement. Ooh, my word. Just see the cameraman there in the background. Joseph Drebber comes to collect the ball, and the cameraman tries to move backwards and almost ends up tripping. It was quite humorous. So Joseph Drebber, yeah, putting the ball in. Goes up. Oh, my word. Stormers lose it. And Dragons manage to regain. So a bit of a mess up there. The first real stuff up from the Stormers in terms of their line out. And Dragons get the ball here and then opting for the box kick from inside the 22. I think it was taken back, so you can't go straight out. Indeed, it doesn't go straight out. And Manie Libbok here is running up with the ball. And yeah, it gets taken down midfield. Hershey Yankees. Oh dear, I think there's a penalty against the Stormers. Yeah, I think it was diving in or slash sealing on Manie Libbok's going down. Yeah, so Stormers just giving away a cheap penalty there. Yeah, crawling actually is what was given. So yeah, Dragons getting out there and putting. Oh my word! Oh my word! That just sums up how terrible the Dragons have been. Terrible. Just to give you information about what just happened. They got a penalty around about halfway line. Tried to kick for the line. And, well, it's gone inside the goal line area for Stormers and they've put it down. And it's now a goal line dropout. So, yeah. Dragons have been hopeless so far. So, another fact for you. Stormers have won 14 consecutive... And now I've lost the fact. Sorry. You're going to have to... We'll wait for something. I think it's 14 consecutive URC matches in a row. So, quite impressive. Let's see how long they can keep that streak going. But the dropout complete, and now Dragons have the ball just inside Stormers' half. And again, a little bit of possession. They really need to do something with this now. They're spreading it through the back line. They found a little bit of space. There's a little gap opening up, but Stormers do well to close it off. They're still up to go the blind side. Comes to the fly half. Fly half takes taken down. Dragons do well to get the ball back there. Driving it up to the forwards. It's a little bit of more enterprising play for the Dragons. It's good to see that they're playing a little bit better rugby now. Spreading it to the back line. Oh, my word. And a knock on. Just as I say, the commentator's curse, I'll tell you something. And Stormers managed to regain the ball, but they're going to come back for the scrum. And it was a shocking knock-on. I think he was just looking at the player who was close to him, and then just didn't even look at the ball. Oh dear. Dragons is not a good day for you so far. Sundays are for watching golf. Sundays are for sleeping, people. Sundays are just for whatever. Sundays are for playing sport, you know. That's the sort of thing. Saturdays are for watching sport. But I don't know how many of you have been watching the Joburg, not the Joburg, the SA Open at the moment. Being played just down the road from me, actually. Yeah. And if you're a follower of Steve on the channel, he's been there every day so far at the SA Open in the media box. Getting a couple of interviews and things and all these various things happening. So, yeah, do be sure to go and check that out as well. But, yeah, so Stephen is not here today because he's playing cricket, which I think is a big fine, especially if he doesn't score runs. In fact, I'm actually going to go and look. Let's just go and see whether or not he managed to make any runs. Can't see, unfortunately. But their T20 team is defending 176 runs, so it's not too bad. So we've got another break here in play because of an injury. I'm going to take an assumption here that it's Marvin Ori who's down. Or they're just doing another water break. They are just doing another water break. I don't see anybody injured. Come on, let's get playing rugby, man. Stop having water breaks. Oh, can't stand it. Come on, let's play rugby. So Sami Zuza saying there, I wouldn't be surprised if Wales lost to Fiji and Georgia again in their pool the way the Dragons are playing. Yeah, look, the World Cup is a long way away. So, you know, Wales have got time to fix their national team in terms of their strategy and everything that goes around it. But there's no doubt it's not a pretty looking team at the moment, and there's serious problems that they need to fix. But it is far away. And the likelihood of losing to both Fiji and Georgia is quite something. Nonetheless, Stormers have got a scrum midfield. Ursula Yankee's not opting to put the ball in. I don't understand why, because the scrum was stable. But anyway, ref saying, whatever, we'll reset the scrum. Scrum's about halfway line. Now, Dylan, I can tell you're a small fan of rugby. Saying you'd prefer to watch rugby every day of the week. Bad dad work, rugby. Bad dad home, rugby. Bad Northern Hemisphere Autumn Nation Series. SH, well, Southern Hemisphere rugby, of course. So, yeah. Tell you, rugby is a great escape from life. There's no doubt about it. So, having another scrum here. I'll tell you something. If this is another scrum penalty against the Dragons, the ref should surely start talking to them because there's a serious problem there. You can't just keep giving away penalties the whole time. It just spoils the game. Anyway, scrum's going again. Stormers moving forward. And, yeah, getting big dominance on the Dragons. Another advantage to Stormers from the scrum. Hershey Yankees takes it out. Manie Libbok's trying to go himself. He's cut in. He's found himself space. Huge amount of space. He just steps one. It is in again. Fantastic individual try from Manie Libbok. I'll tell you something. This kid is on fire. What a try from Manie Libbok there. Unbelievable scenes. My word. Receives the ball, cuts inside the two defenders of the Dragons, finds the fullback there and just steps him quick in and out and then goes on the outside and just takes the pace away from him and managed to get in behind. Tell you, great individual try there from Manie Libbok. Just looking at it again, comes from the scrum, midfield. Hershey Yankees takes the ball out. Comes to Manie Libbok. Manie Libbok notices the fact that the fly half has come very far across his line, steps the fly half, steps the scrum half, and then steps the incoming defender from the wing. I'll tell you something. Great try from Manie Libbok. And now he gets to go and try and convert his own. Boom. Number 9, gone. Then, yeah, the incoming wing, gone. Dragons just couldn't touch Manie Libbok there. It was great try. I tell you, he is having the season of his life right now, Manie Libbok. And if I was anything, I would be starting to demand contracts because you could be looking at a serious pay rise. The way he's playing, he's definitely going to be challenging for a fly-off... regular fly half position in the Springbok side. So an interesting change of events here though. Manie Libbok not going for the kick here. It's Clayton Blommetjies who's going to go and kick this over now. Just going to wait for this ball to go over, and I'll just answer a small comment. We'll catch you up quickly. Sorry about that. Small couple of, typical South African problems. Hope you're all with me still. Just reading a couple of comments. Yeah, just to confirm a couple of small things. Stevie P aged backwards. No, this is Stevie P's younger brother. So yes, you can sort of technically say that. But I am his younger brother, Mark. And yeah, I am watching today's game. So hello, if you've not seen me before, welcome to the game. I'm just reading a couple of comments, just seeing here. Sorry, we just had a small internet drop there. I'm hoping you're all still with us. Do let me know. You still with me? Hoping so. I'm going to have to keep introducing myself. I know, I tell you. Watching from New Zealand. Oh, my word. Sorry, just completely there. Dragons getting a big slip up from the Stormers in the midfield there. Intercept, try. It's going to go over. There you go. Dragons have got points on the board on the stroke of halftime. What a brilliant little piece of play from the Dragons. Well, I say brilliant piece of play. Very lucky piece of play. But, I mean, Jordan Williams with the try. Gets the intercept from the Stormers. It's unlucky from Stormers. They were trying to mount an attack of their own. It's coming from the ruck here. Just looking. Herschel Yankee spreads it out. Oh dear. Manie Libbok's going to have to look himself in the mirror after a brilliant try. It was a looping pass. Well, basically a chucked up pass and invited Jordan Williams to go and intercept that there. Indeed, gets it before Clayton Blommetjies can and then just runs away with it. So yeah, Dragons have got points on the board. So just going back to these comments here. Watching from New Zealand. Love SA Rugby. Well, it's great to know that, is it Eli? I'm going to assume Eli. Or Eli. But glad to know you enjoy watching the rugby. Yeah, that's something I think most South African rugby fans enjoy watching rugby in all countries, including New Zealand as well. Although, of course, when New Zealand play against South Africa, one is always going to be opting for the South African side, hopefully. So, nonetheless, rugby is rugby, and we all love it. Johan, you don't say that you're from South Africa. I mean, with a name like Johan, I don't quite see where else you could be from. Always wanted to eat a dragon. Come Stormers, eat this dragon alive. He's got no fire. Let's go for the 50, but I'll also take a 1-point win for my Stormers any day. Well, I'll tell you what, at the rate they're going, it could well be 50 points. But yeah, currently halftime. We've just hit halftime. It's 28 points to 7. Let me know what you think of the game so far. Yeah, I mean, it's been quite a lot of running rugby, which is great. So, it's going through the bonus point already. Yep, nice. Yes, Mark, I can see some mannerisms like Stephen. Well, it tends to happen when you grow up in the same household, so yeah. But nonetheless, we are at halftime, and it's very hot today in Johannesburg, which is where I'm filming from. Like, really hot. I'm struggling with this heat a bit. So I'm going to take some water. I'm also going to take a short break, but we will be back. So please do not leave us. Do not leave me. I'd like to keep having a chat as we watch the second half. And let me know what your full-time predictions are going to be. And I'm going to find out a couple of things regarding that as well. So, yeah, I'll check you in a bit, ladies and gentlemen. All right, people, I am back. The rugby isn't, but I am. Just thought I'd just tune in a little bit earlier. And yeah, I thought maybe those watching, if you want to ask me questions, I'll answer them to the best of my knowledge, or to my opinion at least. And yeah, what are your thoughts on the game so far, slash just rugby in the world in general? Just have a quick chat before we get to the second half of Stormers Dragons. Yeah, I mean, just reading through a comment here, I see Callum Paul Ross just says, just tuned in. Surely this is Stevie's brother. It is indeed. And his younger brother, Mark. Yeah, I've answered a few times on stream, but of course, you know, people tune in at different points, so I'm quite happy to keep saying that. And those who keep watching the whole time, yes, you might have to roll your eyes every now and then. But nonetheless, it is. Just reading there. Damn, we have a rugby game on what? Yeah? On New Year, I think you mean. Organising New Year's party / rugby. I know it's really horrible. There's and it's also my team as well. It's Lions are playing on New Year's Day, on New Year's Eve, and I think their game kicks off at 7 or / even 9. Just means the game will finish, you know, right before. Well, not quite right before, but surely during the partying and the New Year's parties, etc., and all those things. So really quite frustrating that, but I mean, I suppose, you know, bringing the year right. Hopefully, with the Lions win, one hopes. But be a good way to bring it back in. But yeah, so far Stormers 28 points, Dragons 7 points. Yeah, it's been very easy for the Stormers so far. Basically, I mean, there's not much more I can say other than the fact that Stormers have been all over the Dragons, really, and Dragons only got a consolation try on the fact that Stormers were trying to mount an attack, and it was an intercept try. So, yeah. Just looking at the decent-sized crowd that's pulled in here in Gqeberha today. Yeah. I mean, quite interesting to see the Stormers fans. I mean, I don't know how many of them might have travelled all the way from Western Cape and from Cape Town to go and be there. But nonetheless, good crowd to pull through in a completely different stadium to where they're used to. As we see the Dragons are running out. Hopefully they can play a little bit better in the second half. Tell you what, it'll be difficult to play worse. Yeah, just looking at these stats, just Stormers 64% of the possession. Territory has been majority in the Dragons half. I think it's what it means. Tackles made. Stormers have made more tackles, but scrums won. Stormers have won all of their scrums, whereas Dragons have only won 75%. Lineouts, Stormers have won 88% of their lineouts versus the Dragons, only 50%. Sort of sums up where it's going wrong for the Dragons. Just the basics. And now Stormers running out onto the field. Stormers fans all over the world. Yeah, well, I'll tell you, there are Stormers fans all over the world, but not quite to the numbers that I think some people might hope for. But it's always good to see people pull through for the games and they retire and get to go and watch their favourite teams. Of course, it's not too far away in terms of the world from Cape Town. You know, it is about, you know, it's there. But yeah, nonetheless, good to see a crowd pull through for the Stormers. Try and giving that home ground advantage, even though it's not their home ground. But yeah, Dragons really struggling down here in South Africa so far in their tour. So we're about to get the second half underway again with Manie Libbok to get some. It's not Manie Libbok who's kicking off. In fact, it's Clayton Blommetjies. And boom, we have kickoff. We have the second half underway, and here we go. And Dragons managed to collect. So it's already a better start for Dragons. They collected relatively decently, shifted out to the forwards. Crashing it up midfield. Stormers do well to bring it down. Dragons opting to go for another crash up the midfield here. Not seemingly setting up for the kick yet. So now comes the kick. The box kick's being set up here. We'll do a countdown. 3, 2, 1. And takes the ball out. Ball goes up. It's average chase. Clayton Blommetjies. Oh my word. It's a great chase, in fact. Just wasn't a good chase in terms of trying to get the ball. Clayton Blommetjies absolutely smashed as soon as he received the ball, but did very well to manage to present the ball back to the Stormers. So Stormers were still with the ball. Oh my word, Marvin Ori doing Marvin Ori things. Knocking the ball on very obviously. And it's currently advantage to the Dragons. I wonder whether or not we'll come back for this advantage. Apparently not. Don't quite know why. It's a bit bizarre from the ref, if I'm honest. But nonetheless, there was a big knock-on from Marvin Orie in the midfield, and the ball was spilled backwards into the Stormers 22. The Stormers have now kicked it out at about the halfway between the 10-meter line and the 22-meter line. But surprised it didn't go back for the scrum for the Dragons. Definitely thought that would have been an advantage, but suppose the Dragons scrums recently, you wouldn't say so. And already we're having a stoppage in play because the only Marvin Orie is down yet again. I mean, tell you, this guy's made of glass. Because every single stoppage in play, he's down and he needs medical attention and needs something. And, oh, no, I'm hurt. And, oh, no, this hurts. And, oh, no, that hurts or whatever. And then he's perfectly fine to carry on. And then he goes on and then he carries on playing rugby. Actually, to be fair to the guy, I think he's off now. Yeah, I think he is off. So, I'll take it back a little bit, but unfortunately, this is a regular thing for Marvin Orie. He does tend to always go off, or always stop play and be injured, etc. So, forgive my my assuming that he's not always needing that attention. Nonetheless, we come back here. So we've got a line out to the Dragons. Dragons win the line out. They set up the maul. It's a very well set up maul. It's motoring forward. My word. Brought down illegally by the Stormers, I believe, unless the ref has not called it, and the ball has been taken out. Wasn't taken down illegally. The Dragons just lost themselves. So, it's poor from the Dragons, really. After setting up such a good maul to collapse it themselves, it's a bit amateur, if I'm honest. But it did move forward quite a lot, and then tried to go the blind side and was very easily taken out. Poor decision, if I'm honest. The Dragons there, but nonetheless, it'll be a Stormers line out now. Just inside their 22. So crowd attendance, we're looking at 14,400 people today. So quite a good crowd pulled through. So well done to all of them for going and watching some URC action. Stormers build their own maul. And it's still going forward, this maul. It's also doing quite a good thing. Although it's now going backwards, they're going to have to use it. Hershey trying to find this ball. And takes it out. Opts to the kick up. Oh, it's not a great kick. It's gone straight out. Yeah. Oh dear, so it's now a line out again to the Dragons just outside the Stormers 22, literally just outside the Stormers 22. So, not a great kick there from Herschel Yankees. Yeah. So a bit of scrappy play so far the second half. It's not quite been as polished as the first half was for Stormers. They've just made a few mistakes so far, so going to have to try and fix that as quickly as possible. So Dragons with the throw in, and Dragons again retain this. So it's much better basics being shown from the Dragons here as they try to enterprising little piece of play from the line out. Doesn't quite work. The hooker wrapped around the scrum and took it through, and the scrum half passed it infield. He found himself a bit of space. Dragons in the attack here. Getting close to the Stormers 5-meter line already. Oh, but I think it's crawling, so it's going to come back to a penalty for the Stormers, and Dragons, for all of their efforts, are rewarded with disappointment. They just cannot get anything right at the moment. You know, every single time they look a little bit promising, it's suddenly, breakage. Not breakage, but, a break and play. And Stormers now getting the penalty for crawling. From Dragons crawling. So Clayton Blommetjies kicks it up. He looks quite happy with it. Yeah, quite a good kick, pretty much from the Stormers 5-meter line onto almost halfway. So, Stormers play from the right-hand side to the left this half. It's a bit of a harsh call for crawling, if I'm honest, but nonetheless, we'll go with it. Stormers a bit slow to get to this line out. The ball comes in. It was very skew. As Bar said, Joseph Drebber's thrown was very skew there. So they're going to have to have a scrum here. Dragons put in. Yeah, it's been quite some scrappy rugby so far the second half, if I'm honest. Sorry about that. Just had something stuck in my teeth and I was just trying to get it out. I had a little bit of biltong at half time, so I got a little stuck in my my teeth there, so just had to sort that out. As we've got a replacement here for the Dragons. Taylor is off. He's replaced by number 19. It's not really going to help their scrums much, unfortunately. There's only a lock change, of course. But yeah, Dragons with their own put in for the scrum now. About 45 minutes into the second half. Dragons with 1 try, Stormers with 4. Dragons getting an intercept try at the end of the first, well, not quite the end of the first half, but more or less, towards the latter half, end of the half. Yeah, Stormers very much though been in front the whole time in every aspect. Dragons getting the scrum going. They've managed to hold the scrum long enough for them to get the ball out. Let's grab it through. Manie Libbok's trying to recover. Pass the ball back midfield. Ooh, it's going to be a bit of dangerous play here for the Stormers. Ruan Null's right on his try line. He's trying to have to dance his way around. He's managed to find himself some space. He's managed to run up to the 22-meter line. And, oh dear. Oh, it's a knock-on from the Stormers. Penalty, yard ceiling. So it's going to be a straight penalty to Dragons right in front of the posts. Be interested to see what the Dragons do here. Stormers not really managed to exit properly yet. I mean, we've barely played rugby in the Dragons half so far. So clearly that halftime team talk for the Dragons has definitely worked. They just need to now try and convert the pressure they're piling onto the Stormers, because they certainly are getting a bit more under their skin and playing a little bit better now. So just watching Ruan Null here again. Receives the ball around about his own goalposts. Finds a little gap and runs up the mid, but goes and sets up the ruck there. And the ruck is then over committed to by the Stormers, and so the ball is then left behind as the whole ruck moves forward, and then yeah, Stormers go in and they go seal the ball over. So penalty to the Dragons. Dragons got a line out on the 5-meter line. They're trying to maul it over. The maul is going sideways very quickly, but now it's going straight. It's breaking up a little bit, but it's still going through, and boom, Dragons have their second try of the game. Yeah, whatever happened at halftime, but it's worked for the Dragons. They've got a try for themselves now, trying to fight their way back into this game. And they're very chuffed about it. It's Aki Siuli, or however you want to say it. That very Welsh name. No, I'm joking. But for the Dragons, yeah. It's the number 1. Manages to go over for the maul. Maul worked relatively decently. It went sideways at first, but then as a result, the biggest problem with going sideways is that it does then pivot, which means that you then do have a bit of space to run in behind, which is exactly what happened. And suddenly sees a try line and dives over, and boom, Joseph Dweber can't do anything about it. Yeah, they're pumped up now a bit, the Dragons. It's not the easiest kick either now coming up, but if they slot this over, just Stormers will have to start to be wary a little bit. So about 48 minutes passed. Stormers still quite well and truly in the driving seat, but Dragons started in the second half a lot better, and the kick is off the post and back out, so not successful, unfortunately, not successful. But yeah, Stormers needing to wake up a little bit in the second half. Been a lot of big errors which they were not seeing in the first half that have crept in. They've had a skew line-out throw. They've had about 2 or 3 knock-ons. They've had penalties against them. Just a really poor start to the second half by the Stormers. So Dragons capitalizing on that and scoring their first try of the second half. So now Stormers kicking off from right to left, and let's see if they can try and wake up a little bit here. Clayton Blommerke's opting to wait just a little bit as subs are being made. Yeah, Joseph Dweber is off. And Bok Harris is also on in the prop position. So 2 changes here for Stormers at least. I just want to see if there are other changes that have been made. It's just the 2, I think. So yeah, Kotze has come on for Dweber. And Harris has come on for Blosse. The Stormers have kicked it off now. It's gone into the Dragons 22. Dragons are looking to box kick this out. There's a penalty being given, apparently. Obstruction against the Dragons. He got this call from, I think, the TMO or / the touchline judge, because the ref suddenly started backing away from the ruck, very oddly, and then suddenly calls a penalty. So obviously obstruction called against the Dragons for the kickoff. So one of the chases from Stormers obviously being obstructed by the opposition player. But right. So Stormers getting a little bit of a yeah. You see Stormers obviously being a little bit frightened with regards to the Dragons start the second half and opting to go for posts here, which is not the usual. They're just trying to bring it to a three score game rather than, well, actually it's already 3 scores. It's a bit of an odd decision, if I'm honest. I'm not quite sure why they're going for posts when they are still leading by 16 points. This is a very odd one. Yeah, it is clear obstruction, I think. It is clear obstruction. Just going back to the comments here. Come on, Stormers, don't let the Dragons take this game over. Yeah, well, I don't think you're too much in danger of that. But yeah, Dragons have woken up a little bit more. Stormers will need to keep their foot on the throat unless they want a game of 2 halves with the Dragons seemingly having some fire in the second 40. Thank you. You commentate well. Well, thank you very much, Bianca. I appreciate it. Yeah, so Manie Libbok here coming with the kick from the penalty. Let's see if he slots it over. He should be able to. It's quite an easy kick. Again, I still don't quite know why they're going for the kick. Personally, I'd opt to kick this into the corner, maul it over, or create something, because they have been quite successful each time they've been on the Dragons line. One would have assumed that they'd opt to try and get a try and then really take the game away from the Dragons and just demotivate them, because the kick is a bit of an odd one, because all they do is they extend the 16 points to 19 and just sneaks the ball in there, Manie Libbok. So still successful there, but now 31 points to 12. Still a bit confused to why they went for the kick, but still, nonetheless, Stormers extend their lead. They're just keeping the scoreboard ticking, I suppose. So yeah, now Dragons just kicking off again. Coming from left to right. Yeah. I wonder if Dragons can keep up their momentum, or if that's going to now just kill their spirit a little bit. What I suppose the Stormers with that kick did do is it did just buy them a little bit of breathing time in terms of just trying to recollect and gather themselves. But again, early little mistake again from Ruan Naldia. Received the ball, tried to kick it out, and was charged down by the Dragons straight out. So it's still a Stormers throw-in, but it's just on the 22 inside their own half. So they're going to be under a little bit of pressure here. They're going to need to make sure they get this line out right. And they do. Herschel Yankee spreads it out to the midfield. They're going to crash it up through Duplessis. Yeah, they've got the ball well gathered, and Herschel Yankees goes for the box kick, and it's a very, very, very poor kick again from Herschel Yankees. He's not had the greatest start to the second half, and the ball only goes out about 5 meters ahead of his own 22. So pretty much, Dragons getting the much better advantage out of this whole piece of play here, and got a line out now just outside the Stormers 22. Yeah, so if they can try and capitalize on this, Stormers will be scratching their heads a little bit, because they've really not started the second half particularly well. Very, very well, clean line out from the Dragons. They set up the maul. The maul is moving forward before the ball's even reached the back, and now it starts, and now it's really motoring forward. My word. It's going a bit sideways now. They're going to have to take the ball out. Indeed, they do. They're stretching it through the back line. It's a relatively loopy pass, and they've managed to get off the wing. He's got lots of space to run in, but Stormers doing very well to cover it. He's going to have to try and beat like about 6 defenders. Not able to do so. Dragons still do set up the ruck. Comes off from the midfield. They opt for the kick in behind. It's a shocking kick. Don't quite know what he was attempting to do there. Yeah, kick's gone straight out. They're going to come back for, I think, the scrum. The scrum for where he kicked it from, because it did go, it's bounced out behind the in-goal area. So I think that has to be a scrum just outside the 22, where he's kicked it from. So not the best decision from the Dragons. I'm not quite sure. I suppose, yes, if you're in that position, you can opt to take... No, I was about to say it's a scrum. These people are all acting as if it's a 22 dropout. I know my rules. Yeah, see. Right. Yeah, just... Dragons disappointing there, because if they just spread it to the line, I think they could have done something there, because they were finding a bit of space in behind the Stormers setup. So yeah, everyone watching... If you haven't yet told me, do tell me where you're watching from, who you're supporting, who you're backing, or you're just watching for the sake of watching. Yeah, for all of those who might not be able to watch the game, we do have a partner who can assist you with that, and their name is ExpressVPN. So if you can't watch the game live, wherever you are, you can watch the game using our partner ExpressVPN. If you go and read the description, it tells you all about it and how you can do that. And you can also join the members club, be a member of Forever Sports. Of course, we'll very much appreciate you, and you get a little bit of perks out of being a member, of course, and we do very much appreciate you. Yeah, if you're not able to watch, do go and see the description, and you can find out exactly how you can watch. Turn off the commentary maybe and still chill with me, and yeah, we can still chat rugby, because of course you're pretty much going to be live with me. Anyway, the ball has come out of that ruck, the scrum. Stormers opts to kick it back into the Dragons half, and then Dragons kick it back to Stormers. And Caden Blommeke's running back at the Dragons. He's taken down, but Dragons have managed to overturn the ball. They've stolen the ball on halfway, so Dragons now with the ball again. Again, Stormers not able to get going the second half, really. Dragons now trying to spread the ball. Comes the try scorer. Oh, my word. Huge hit from 2 Stormers defenders there. One of them being Brock Harris. Dragons now in their own half, but this rush defense of Stormers really, really harassing the Dragons. Now they've been taken down in their own half. It's being stolen by the Stormers. Oh, I suppose I can go with the penalty decision from the ref there, but it's a bit of a harsh one on Dion Fourie. Managed to get over the ball, but the tackler not able to run to roll away. So Stormers being penalized there. And for talking back now from Dion Fourie, very poor from his half, and the ref has given 10 meters. So now better position now for the Dragons to kick the ball out. Just going back to my comments here, we've got Chongwe, Zambia. So welcome, Norman. Nice to see you from Zambia. My dad was born there, so it's always good. Carter Paul in London, you Stormers. Good. Andrew is saying, I'm watching from West Ewell, Surrey in England. I'm hoping I'm saying Ewell correctly. Is it West Ewell or West Ewell? Or I don't know. I'm hoping it's Ewell or something like that. Go Stormers. Libbok, no doubt, is wearing that Bok 10 jersey and Andre's absent. Even if someone else takes over the place kicking duties, I'm an All Blacks fan. Why are you an All Blacks fan? And then this is a Stormers team. Well drilled, well done, Dobbos. Oh my. Sorry, just watching from the line out there. Dragons messing it up. And now comes to Clayton Blommeke's on the wing, completely out of nowhere. Ruan Null cuts back inside. He kicks the grabber through the middle. It could be brilliant. Oh no, it's mishandled. Stormers still going through. And it's Du Plessis who's going to dive for the ball. Is not able to get there. Dragons get there first. Oh my word. Very, very, very big piece of play there in this game here. My word, end-to-end stuff, and this has come off now. Couple of injuries as well from that now. My words, you should have seen the try. Well, the potential try that Stormers almost could have scored came out of that penalty where it went out for the throw-in, or the line out rather. Line out was average from the Dragons. Ball spilled in the following ruck. And Stormers then passed it out all the way to the wing. Clayton Blommeke's and Ruan now playing very well together there. And yeah, then eventually ball comes to Ruan and he tries to gather it forward. It's mishandled by the Dragons. It's then kicked forward by, I can't quite see who it is. And then Dan Du Plessis was chasing the ball but not able to get there in time. Just going back here. Got it the first time, Andrew. Well, I'm good. Good. I'm happy about that. I don't know why I tried to correct myself. You know, trust in me and the whole thing. Dobbert coached the box. I don't see it for a while. Let's put it that way. I must be honest. I don't see that for a while. We're seeing a potential. Oh my word! It is obstruction. It has to be obstruction. Number 14 there. It was kicked forward by Stormers number 7. I've forgotten his name temporarily. But 14 was very clearly going for the player, not for the ball. And as a result, he would have got through. I just want to confirm who it is. It's I think it's Billy Engelbrecht. Who gets completely blocked there by Dragons number 14. I think they may well give this as a yellow card. Potential penalty try because nobody's in behind. We'll see what the decision is here. Just going to listen in. So definitely a yellow card. I don't know if it's a penalty try though. Yeah, so it's a yellow card to number 14 for Dragons. So Stormers getting a big lifeline in the second half. Who's not had a great start to the second half, but now going to be rewarded for this piece of stupid play by the winger of Dragons. He's querying it, which is very unsportsmanlike in the rugby game. Don't quite know why he's going and talking about it, but yeah, he's off the sin bin. And it's just a penalty to the Stormers. So they're going to... Is it a penalty? Don't quite know what's happening right now. I don't know if they've given a penalty try. If it's a penalty try, you don't go for points. You get them automatically. Unless they're going for... Unless they're opting to take a penalty kick. I think they're opting to go for the penalty kick. I'm not quite sure what's gone on after the yellow card. Something's happened. So Beth Lloyd here saying, watching game on TV, but Welsh commentary. Had a season ticket at Newlands. Now living in the UK. Loving your commentary. Also born in Zambia. Well, it's always very good to know. Nice to have you here, Beth. And yeah, Manie Libbok here taking, I think it's, yeah, they've just been given a penalty and they're opting again to go for posts. It's the most bizarre decision from the Stormers. I don't quite know why they're going for posts. I mean, you could be piling on points on the Dragons here. It's quite an easy thing to do right now. And it would certainly demotivate them. But they're going for the kicks at posts so far. It's a bit odd, if I'm honest. Right in front of the post, Manie Libbok puts it straight over. 34 points to 12. Just almost at halfway point in the second half. Yeah, Stormers now firmly again in the driving seat. As we see the Dragons winger on the bench in the sin bin. Not looking particularly happy with life. So Dragons now man down as well as very far down the points. Captain Salman Murat looking quite comfortable right now. Some Stormers make a sub here. So Jaden, they're saying it's a penalty try any other day. Yeah, well, I was surprised it wasn't, but I suppose the big thing is that the player who was chasing the ball is not particularly quick, and there were other players chasing, so I suppose it wasn't a guaranteed try, and that's the whole big thing, of course, with penalty tries. It basically has to be a try scoring opportunity in terms of it's certain almost that you will score that try. Given the fact that it was uncertain that he would score the try, it was still a professional foul, it's a yellow card, but can't give a penalty try because it wasn't certain that they would have scored the try. So, yeah, probably the correct decision in the end. And welcome, Billy Engelbrecht, to the Forever Sports Members Club. Very happy to have you here. Hope you enjoy your membership with us. And you'll get all the perks, of course, of that membership, which are detailed, I believe, when you sign up. But yeah, welcome, Billy, and big shout out to you. So I'll take a water break drink for you. And cheers, Billy, to joining the Forever Sports Members Club. Of course, any of you can do that. You can just quickly, of course, just go and opt to join the Forever Sports team. And then, of course, we can have conversations and you get all the little perks of being a member, which is always great. Just going through there. Well, at least the Stormers are putting on points, even if it's 3-pointers. Yeah, I mean, they are. But again, both times they could have opted for the line and probably could have scored the try. Anyway, back to the rugby here. Stormers have got the ball inside their own half. They're playing it through to Manie Libbok, who spreads the ball out wide. It's coming to... Oh dear. It's miscontrolled by Duplessis on the wing. I don't know why he's found himself on the wing. It was played by Zas out to him. It's a bit of an odd one. They sort of swapped positions, but it's gone out. So now it's going to be a line out to Stormers. Not to Stormers, to Dragons. And there's a little bit of a scuffle in midfield from the Dragons and the Stormers. I believe... that is, it's Willy Engelbrecht. Sorry, I've just only clicked now. I've got, we've got a new member in the club here called Willy Engelbrecht, and one of the Stormers players is Willy Engelbrecht. It's just, sorry, I just suddenly got very confused there because I was literally just talking about it and I went, hang on, it sounds very similar to a name I've just said, but it wasn't to do with rugby. So talk about coincidence. So yes, Willy, you were getting in a scuffle earlier. But Clayton Blommeke's here looking at his game today. He's played fantastically today. He's really had some great individual highlights. Just showing his dancing footwork and a couple of the kicks and steps and things. My word. It's been a good game for him as we come to about the 60 minutes, which is why we're not currently seeing rugby, because we're doing one of those stupid water breaks yet again. So, yeah, we'll get to the end of that eventually. Now, Willy Engelbrecht is playing and watching at the same time, lol. I know it did confuse me for a slight bit because I was like, hang on, am I misreading something here? Am I saying players' names incorrectly? I was like, no, wait, hang on. I know Willy Engelbrecht plays for Stormers. And I go back and I'm like, oh, hang on, that's exactly why. So we've got two Willy Engelbrechts in our stream here. One's playing rugby and one's joining members clubs. So it's all very interesting. Tell you what, the crowd have been treated to a great game of rugby, so I think they'll be very chuffed with what they've seen today because there has been some great rugby on show. There seems to be some good vibes, good spirit going. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Got a patron and the player on the same stream. Or Samizuza, they're saying. And Dragons messing up there a little. Well, say Dragons messing up, but they messed up their line out, but it was mishandled by Stormers. Stormers then causing a knock on. So it's another at Scrum now in this game. Quite a lot of Scrums this game. Dragons put in the Scrums have been better the second half for Dragons. They're not nearly as many penalties as they were in the first half. Just check him on the field typing on his phone. Yeah, I know. I'll tell you, he must be doing something. He's clearly enjoying the commentary. So, oh, we've got something else that's happened here. I think we've got a head. We've got an HIA being requested for a Dragons player. They're just going to have to stop play quickly. But time is still going here. So Dragons are almost utilizing this as like an opportunity to try and waste the yellow card time. So there should be stopping time for this sort of thing, but they haven't. But yeah, Dragons fullback has gone off for an HIA test. So we'll see what happens with that, whether he comes back on. But meanwhile, back to the Scrum is about to get going again. So of course, Dragons put in just inside or just outside the 10-meter line inside the Stormers half. So closer to the Stormers try line, I'm saying, than halfway line. Dragons setting up a decent scrum. They're not putting the ball in, and it's collapsed on this side here. I'm surprised that was not given as a penalty, if I'm honest. I'm not quite sure what the Dragons scrum half was doing in terms of not putting the ball in there, because the Dragons scrum has been rather useless today. And the scrum was somewhat stable. I would have put the ball in and just tried to take the ball out as quickly as possible, rather than leave it in there, because I think they're more in danger of giving away a penalty than they are of winning one. So one would certainly opt to try and get the ball in as quickly as possible, and then just quickly spread it to the line. Nonetheless, we have got another reset scrum, and I'll tell you, scrums are so slow these days. I just wish they'd speed up, because I spend years waiting for them to set up. They get going, it collapses. We wait another 40 seconds for them to set up. Meanwhile, they set up again. We've got a set. Brock Harris seems to be dominating. It's a little bit arched on the back. Dragons being told to use it at the back of their scrum. Dragons get the ball out. It's going to be an interesting backline move. Not quite that interesting, if I'm honest. Just a crash ball from 13. Oh dear. One of the Dragons players is very, very injured. He's going to be off. And it's a great little steal there by Dion Fourie. Managed to get over the ball, holding on in the ruck. But I do think a lot of that came down to Dragons 13 or /12. One of the centers got, I think, a big hit on his knee, I believe. I think he might have done something serious to his knee. I think he's definitely off. Is yeah, clearly a bit of an injury, but a fantastic little steal there from Dion Fourie, or at least holding on in the ball from the ruck there. So very well done to Dion Fourie there for winning the penalty for the Stormers. But another stoppage in play, because yeah, Dragons have got a big, well, not a big, but certainly an injury that will probably need replacing. We see Libbok has come off. Libbok is coming off, and so is Herschel Yankees. These two have played quite well today. Herschel Yankees not so much in the second half. He's been fairly average in the second half, but Manie Libbok, class today. Really, really showing his stuff and strutting his stuff and living off that confidence of getting in that Springbok jersey as well. So, yeah, I think a great outing for him. He's going to be very chuffed with us today. And I'll tell you, his rugby this year has just been incredible. So he'll be very chuffed with ending this year, hopefully on a high as well. And yeah, 2 subs have been put on for the Stormers. So now we're seeing a bit of a bit more of a laid-back Stormers team. Most of their Springbok representatives are off the field now, except for Dion Fourie, who's come on. And yeah, indeed, that Dragons player is going off. He's being helped off by 2 medical staff. He's not... Oh, no, he's going to be out for a while. It's very, very, very tender on the leg there. I think the knee is swelling up significantly. So yeah, he's definitely out for a while. That's unfortunate. That is Owen that's going off, and Reed has come on to replace him. So bad luck, Owen. But, yeah. Nonetheless, we keep the game going. We're 62-ish minutes in. And Stormers now opting to kick for the line for the penalty, just on their own 10-meter line from the middle of the field. And, you know, let's see if Stormers can actually put a couple of tries on the board again, because they've been very timid the second half in terms of going for the tries. There's been more choosing to go for posts and just trying to hold back this Dragons attack, which has been a bit of an odd one, because I certainly didn't think that would be the decision made going to the second half, is to be to be more relaxed in terms of point scoring. Nonetheless, Stormers have got a line out just outside of just in front of the Dragons' 10-meter line. And they, oh my word, and yet again, it's almost a brilliant break here from the substitute Reed for Dragons. There was a bit of an intercept, well, not quite an intercept, but the Stormers knocked it on, but knocked it straight into his hands. So Dragons now attacking on the halfway line. Ball's coming back here. Dragons moving very quickly. They choose the chip over. Stormers almost covering it well, not quite. And it's knocked back by the Stormers, but straight into a Dragon's hand. Oh, and it's very well done by Dion Ferree again to hold on to the ball. Very well done to go and regather that, because the Stormers were a little bit in trouble there. Dion Ferree having to win yet another penalty for the Stormers, but now they really need to try and fix these lineouts, because Stormers have been just so many basic errors have crept into the game this second half. I mean, they're still in control, but it's not nearly as pretty. You know, it was all working the first half. Second half, it's been very stop start. Kick there going out just about halfway between the 10-meter line and 22-meter line from the penalty for Stormers. So Stormers put in yet again. Looking forward to seeing more of the Manie in the RC next year after the performance against Italy for the Box. Not quite sure what you mean by the RC, the Rugby Championship, I suppose. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm also hoping so. Obviously, there's the incoming tour that still hasn't been announced as to who we're playing yet. That will probably be before the Rugby Championships. So we'll see who we play there, and hopefully he gets a chance there, because you don't really want to blood him in during the Rugby Championship. Those are some big teams to be trying to do things with players who aren't quite used to that Springbok jersey yet. I'm sure you'll be fine with it, but still, hopefully there's an incoming tour that he can be blooded in there. But meanwhile, Stormers have got the ball midfield. It's just a bit of broken play, if I'm honest, right now. They're just trying to set up the ruck. Okay, we finally got our phase set up here. Yeah, so Stormers just in front of the 10-meter line inside the Dragons' half. Trying to bring it up now through the hands after that line out. Oh dear. Tried something. It's come to Clayton Blommack. He's going to have to try and regather. He's regathered well. Murat is over to get this ball. Dion Ferree now. Stormers being told to use it. And coming up through the forwards here. Forwards crashing it up relatively decently. I think there's going to be an up and under kick potentially here. Not quite an up and under, but it's certainly a long-looking kick. Has it gone straight out? No, it's a great little kick. Fantastic kick. Kick one bounce and straight out on the 5-meter line for Dragons. So great little kick there for the Stormers. It's old Volhol. I never know how to say this guy's name, I must be honest. Is it Wolhuter or Volhuter or I don't know. Anyway, the replacement fly half for Stormers was, I think it's Volhuter, I think. I'm going to go with that. Yeah, it's a great little kick there. It's just on the 5-meter line for Dragons with their own put in now. Stormers contesting, not able to get it. Dragons pass it back to the scrum half. Scrum half goes infield. They crash it up midfield. Crash is done decently enough. The player took a boot to the face. It's going to be a bit of a sore one. Anyway, Dragons try to get it out and they clear relatively decently. So good exit from the Dragons there. It's about just halfway between the 22 and the 10-meter line. As they see their winger's going to come back on after his yellow card. So Stormers not really able to make them pay for that yellow card. So Dragons doing well to minimize the issues there from that yellow. Just going here, Bianca saying, what is the usual period they give players to leave between the international games and national games? I think it's up to the discretion of the clubs. I know international teams, there's usually windows. So they've got international windows where if an international contingent, so the Springboks, for example, tell a club, we want this player for the international window, they have to release them. They're obligated to release them. But the moment that international window closes, then you have an issue where the club actually has the authority to call the player back. So you see, when Springboks played England now, that was actually outside the international window. So there were a few players who were not allowed to actually go and play for the Springboks, who by their clubs called them back. So one of them being Cheslin Colby was called back by his club in England. Or wherever his club is. But he was called back outside of the international window. So he couldn't actually play that England game if he wanted to. So yeah, that sort of gives you an idea. But it's then up to the clubs or the international teams to when they can come play again within that window. It's just basically down to rest usually. But they pretty much can play, as we see with a couple of these players, they can play the Saturday and then the following Saturday play for the club. in terms of the national team. So nothing really stops that except for just the players' level of fitness, I suppose. But yeah, another stoppage in play here from Stormers. Just so far, these last couple of minutes have been it's been very broken play, if I'm honest. It's not been great rugby to watch, a couple of intercepts, but the intercepts just result in turnovers, and then the turnovers just result in knock-ons, and then, the first half was great to watch. The second half has been a little bit, it's been stop-start, a bit broken, etc. So hopefully these last 10 minutes it fixes up a little bit. But yeah, we're heading towards the end of this game here. Have Stormers shown their class? It's been a little bit disappointing in the second half. Who do you think out of the South African sides are going to be challenging for places in the final again? Do we reckon Bulls will be there? Will it be Stormers again? Stormers are looking very classy at the moment, of course. Sharks, they've not been looking so great recently. Of course, their coach recently getting sacked. Lions being very surprising, of course, with their results so far. Been doing some fantastic results. And quite frankly, watching that Stormers versus Lions game at Ellis Park, you have to feel that Lions should have won that game, but yeah, just stolen right at the end by Stormers. They did well to manage to get a victory in the end, but I tell you, Lions were the better team in that game. So it's good to see that all South African teams are doing relatively well. Sharks, a little bit questionable, but who do we back out of these South African sides? Of course, we've got Stormers fans here. They're all going to say Stormers, but what are the thoughts? So yeah, from that scrum there, Stormers have come away with it as Dion Freeze trying to go forward. He's pretty much going backwards. Been called a tackle. About halfway line here. Stormers just gathering in cheer. It's not pretty rugby, if I'm honest. So they're going to opt for the kick again. Yeah, it is a kick again. Straight down the center of the field. It's too far. It's way too far. It's going to go out and they're going to come all the way back for the scrum. Just about halfway line. So yeah, not a great kick there at all from the Stormers replacement fly half. Sean O'Farrell here saying, should be interesting when Stormers play Clement next week in the Champions Cup. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting matchup. I mean, Stormers are in great form, of course. They've got a lot of stats behind their name, which is certainly going to support them in terms of the URC going into it. I think they're going 14 games unbeaten at home or something like that, or in the URC, or something along those lines. They've got a good record behind their name at the moment. So, but it should be, of course, the URC always brings up some very interesting results. So, been a great tournament in that respect. So yeah, 69 minutes have passed here in the Stormers versus Dragons game. Stormers are leading 34 points. Dragons 12. Dragons did have a yellow card earlier. Stormers not punishing them with it really. And Dragons playing a lot better the second half. Still not able to score the points they wanted, but have at least made a bit of a contest out of it in terms of on-field rugby. And they've just got a scrum about halfway line after Stormers kicked it over the in-goal area. Scrum is going very much to Stormers' favour. Can the Dragons last? No, not really. I think they're going to have... Oh, they've managed to get the ball out somehow. The ref didn't call a penalty. I'm surprised it didn't. Dragons opting through here through the locks. Setting up the ruck. Comes the loose forward. It's almost crawling, not quite. Oh, and he tries to... And the scrum half tries the little give and go, but not quite able to make it work. So the try scorer takes it out. Passing it through the back line. Oh, it's very messy play for the Dragons. They're not really getting through this line at all. They're choosing to slow it down a little bit here. Going to try and crash it up through the middle. But Stormers' defense, I'll tell you something, that's what's been good the second half from Stormers. Their defense has been very good. The high rush, although it's been beaten now. Dragons are through. It's the number 20. He's coming through. He's past it infield. They're going to be able to get it again. Oh, it's a great little... Oh, no, it's not. It's a great tackle at the end. But another... Oh, I'll tell you what. That is fantastic from the Dragons scoring that try there. Eventually gets the try down and scored by the fly half. Eventually, but every single time a player was tackled or scored by Hanrahan, by the way, sorry, I just wanted to clarify that. Hanrahan scores the try. But just watching through here, it's just the short pass here. It's a very short pass to a great little run here. Just eyes the gap and just managed to get that pass away. Comes through the midfield, with the loose forwards. Passes again to his fellow loose forward. He gets taken out. He passes it out as he's getting tackled. Comes to the replacement scrum half. As he gets tackled, he passes it out to his fly half, who then manages to dot the ball down. So 4 attempted tackles, all 4 of the players going down, but just on the floor managed to pop the ball up to a supporting player. So great rugby from the Dragons. Great try. Probably the try of the day, if I'm honest, in terms of just support play. So good little show of rugby there, and they slot the points over. So it's 19 points now behind the Dragons' name. Stormers 34. So still quite comfortable for the Stormers, but Dragons certainly making a statement the second half in terms of saying, hey, we can play rugby. So yeah, comes up through here again. But good play from the Dragons there. Great play. Stormers and Bulls as usual for me in the finals, says Sami Zuza. Bianca saying Sharks are not looking good this season. That is good news for a Lions supporter. Yes, it is. Tell you, I'm very chuffed with the Lions at the moment, given how well they're doing, with how little support they get from their owners, I'm honest with. And yeah, the up and under there from the Dragons working quite well. It's come back to them in midfield. They're attacking quite well. It's quite quick. And Clayton Blomekis is down a little bit injured, but they've spread it out to the wing. He's got a bit of space here for the Dragons. He's passed it infield. Oh, the ball is tapped backwards. But they're still carrying on. Yeah, the loose forward taking it up. They're on the 22 of Stormers. Tell you, this game has suddenly bolted into life in the last 5 minutes. They spread it out to the wing, and the wing is coming in. Oh, he's not able to get the ball out. I think he's knocked it on, so I think they're going to have to call the ball back here. It's eventually put down by Stormers in their in-goal area, but I think it was knocked on. But I'll tell you something, Dragons really putting their foot forward here and making a game of it in these last 10 minutes. Flip. Dragons are really punishing the Stormers. Stormers are not able to handle them with these subs. I think their subs are not quite the same level as the starters, and you're just seeing a bit of a difference in quality right now. Really, Dragons are really doing quite well these last few minutes. Just watching back here, this Clayton Blomekis attempted an up and under. It's not taken out in the air, I don't feel. You know, they're both challenging for the ball. They're both looking at the ball. The one player manages to get his hand to the ball, thus winning it. And then Clayton Blomekis gets taken out by the other one. He lands on his back. Oh, it'll sting for a little bit, but it's not dangerous, really. Unfortunately, I don't see how that can be called in any way but just simple contest in the air. But just watching the Dragons here, just, yeah, great enterprising play. It's great to watch. So, at least the Dragons playing a little bit of good rugby the second half now. Just unfortunately not able to. They're just stuffing up just outside the 5-meter line of the Stormers to just put the ball down, and yeah, shame. They mess up right there. Oh my word! So they didn't go back for the knock on. Of course, they went for a touchline drop out, and Dragons running very hard back into the Stormers line. And oh dear, he's very isolated, this Dragons player, but somehow managed to get the ball back for his team. And the Dragons just coming through here, trying to set up a decent ruck and a decent position again on the halfway line. Passing through the forwards, big hits in midfield, my word. But they keep it moving, the Dragons. It's coming to the centers. Centers opt to come infield. They pass it through. There's just soft hands right now, just keeping the ball moving. Stormers off their feet. Yeah, that's going to be a penalty there. Penalty they give against the Stormers, not releasing. So yeah, Dragons very much in the driving seat right now. Gonna try and kick this ball out for a young line out. And hopefully they might be able to score from it as well, you know, in terms of the Dragons' hope. So, decent kick. Yeah, quite a good kick there, yeah. So just halfway between the 5-meter and the 22. Yeah, it was a Stormers player. There was the tackle assist, and then he tried to go for the ball, obviously not releasing from the original tackle, therefore being penalised, not showing daylight. Penalty against the Stormers. So, yeah, Dragons really showing the Stormers a bit of some flair right now, and Stormers a bit under the cosh here. So let's see if Stormers can still defend it, because they have still done quite well defensively generally. So if they can just maintain that defensive structure, they should be fine here. But Dragons just need to make sure they get this line out clean. And if they get that line out clean, who knows what will happen. I think Dragons might well score again, and then it'll make a very interesting end to this game, because then you're looking at bonus point territory for the Dragons. So they need to try and get it in. As they do win the line out cleanly, they set up the maul. Maul's going very sideways at the moment. Oh, it's coming in from the side. Shocking play from Stormers. And it's still coming through. And there you go. Try is scored from the Dragons. My word, he split off the maul. He was at the front. Stormers thought it was at the back. He split off at the front. Stormers didn't even see it coming. And he was just tackled on the line, but too late. Fantastic try from the prop there of Dragons. So 24 points already behind the Dragons' name. And there's still 5 minutes of play to go. It's Josh Reynolds with the try. Yeah, Stormers are looking a little bit edgy right now. Second half definitely been the Dragons' favor. Dragons getting a lot more points the second half than Stormers. Stormers only getting 6. Dragons getting, I think, total, if they put this over, it'll be 26 points, which means minus 7. It'll be 19 points. So the second half's been 19 points to 6 in the Dragons' favor. So Stormers not really coming out in the second half. But great mauling try. Well, great setup try from the forwards there for the Dragons. The bench has been very good for the Dragons. They've really actually pretty much solidified their structure in the scrum, which wasn't great for their starting lineup. But the bench has really shown a bit of class here. So just coming here for the kick, and it's curling in. It's a great kick. So, heading into an interesting last 5 minutes here. Dragons with 26 points, Stormers with 34, which means that if Dragons score another try, they'll be 1 point behind the Stormers. And quite frankly, I would not be surprised if they do score another try. I still think Stormers will win. But it does mean Dragons can put themselves into bonus point territory, which will significantly help their campaign, obviously. So, Dragons very much up for it. Stormers needing to wake up here a little bit. The Stormers will only get better as the season goes on. Well, I think that goes for most teams as well, surely. Hopefully, I think that, as they start playing a little bit more with each other. As the Dragons do manage to get the ball secured after the restart there. And the box kick goes up, and there's a big chase from the wing. It's not a great kick, but the wings managed to get... Oh, almost got there, but Clayton Blommetjies kicks it forward again. And it's regathered by Dragons inside their 22. Shifts it in midfield. But I'll tell you, the Stormers' rush defense is big. They try to kick it out. It's not a great exit. It's all right, I suppose. Dragons kicking it out onto their 10-meter line. So somewhat of a decent exit. But Stormers now got the ball inside the Dragons' half. So that'll certainly suit them a lot in these last 4 minutes. Just going back to the comments here. Late fight back, perhaps, especially if it's just more than pride here for the Lions. Yeah, exactly. I would like to know what the Stormers took at the half time because I really need to sleep. But he was... Oh, this is a tough call. So the ref has pulled it back, and they're saying that the ball was actually taken out of the 22 and brought back in. So therefore, the line-out is actually inside the Dragons 22 to the Stormers. The Stormers suddenly given an attacking line-out out of nowhere. Stormers opting to go for the maul here. The maul is very well set. It's going a bit sideways. They're going to have to try and straighten this, but it's very well set. And it's coming through. It's split off a bit. It's pretty much collapsed now. It's great defense by the Dragons, and managed to bring the ball down. It's not presentable, and so the Dragons win the scrum. So 77 minutes pass. It's too little time for the Dragons to try and do anything in terms of winning it, but they could try and put themselves into bonus point territory, which would be fantastic for them given the half-time score of 28 points to 7. So Dragons certainly showing their colours the second half. Come on, Stormers. Somebody says, should have been a penalty try to Stormers all day earlier. Now, you see, we were talking about it. I'm not sure if you were here, but we were talking about the reason why that wouldn't be given as a penalty try is because a penalty try requires basically almost certainly going to be a try if the foul play does not occur. Sad reality is, it was a loose forward who's not particularly quick in Willie Engelbrecht who kicked the ball forward, and there were lots of retreating Dragons players who could have contested for that, and one of them being the one that actually put the ball down ahead of Duplessis, thus stopping the try. The likelihood that he could have got there ahead of Willie Engelbrecht is still quite high, and that's the reason why it wouldn't be a penalty try, because it wasn't necessarily a guaranteed try, but it was definitely professional foul, which means yellow card. So I think the correct decision was made. It was definite yellow card, professional foul, obstruction, player was going through for the try line, potential try, but not guaranteed pretty much. Therefore, only a penalty and a yellow card, not a penalty try as well. Yeah, probable. But the problem is it wasn't necessarily that probable because it was a slow... I mean, I'm just reading a comment now saying it was a probable try. The thing is, it wasn't all that probable. Willie Engelbrecht's not particularly quick. And there were lots of retreating players in line with Willie Engelbrecht as well. So the likelihood that a Dragons player could have got there ahead of him is quite likely still. So it's pretty much it's 50-50. So it's not it's not that probable that he would have scored. So I still think correct decision made, if I'm honest. And I don't think it's affected Stormers too much. But look, my view of it is personally, I do think the correct decision was made. It's definitely a yellow card. And if it was a penalty try, I could have possibly seen why they gave it, but I can very much see why they didn't give it as a penalty try. But nonetheless, Stormers do have a line out now on the Dragons' 5-meter line, just in the last minute of play here, to try and seal the win. I'll see if they can try and maul this over. This previous maul was quite good, so hopefully they do manage to do it. Ball goes in, it's straight. They set up the maul, it's very well set. Hooker joins eventually. Scrum half's at the back here, just monitoring. And the maul is trying to get moving forward, but it's not really going anywhere. The use it once has been called. Scrum half's going to have to take it out here. There you go. Scrum half takes it out. Comes to Null. Null passes it back to the scrum half off the floor. They opt for the kick across field. It's Tristan Lates doesn't manage to gather it on the far touchline after the kick. Almost would have been a great try if he did, but I think the ball was just a bit too far for him and he was moving too much. Yeah, and that is the hooter for 80 minutes. So it did go out before the hooter was sounded, which means that it'll be they're opting for a scrum, I think, because I think it was knocked forward, I think is what they're saying from Tristan Lates. Just looking back here, just going to confirm that now. So you see the kick go across the field there. It was just a bit too heavy. Tristan Lates, yeah, knocked on. Knock on was first. So yeah, tried to bring it in all the way there. So it will be a scrum to end the game here from the Dragons. It'll be very interesting to see what the Dragons do from this. Will they try and run it out? I'm sure they're going to have to. Don't really have much choice in the matter. So they're going to have to try and win the scrum first and then try and run it out pretty much their own try line. So it'll be quite an impressive try if they do manage to score. But it's going to be a lot of work. So I think, unfortunately, we are probably looking at the final score here in this game. So Storm is currently definitely going to win this game. There's no chance that Dragons can win, but Dragons can get themselves a bonus point, which would be huge, of course, for them, given the fact that halftime was really looking quite sad for them. And there's a huge scrum from the Stormers, but they managed to get out the Dragons. The Dragons just not even opting to play. They just looked at this and thought, we're not getting out of our try line, so he just opts to punt the ball in behind. And so ends the game. Stormers do win. 34 points to Dragons 26. So Dragons definitely winning that second half, showing the colours. Stormers but falling asleep in that second half. Not a great performance by them in that second half, but that first half was class. Absolutely class, that first half. But yeah, Dragons just needed whatever they did in the second half. They needed to have done that in the first half, and then there could have been a very decent contest. But Stormers doing enough in the first half to control the Dragons' second half. So yeah, thus ends our URC game, and thus ends my watch along with you. I will be back later because Stephen is again not available this evening for the Bulls game. So I will be back for the Bulls game later. And I hope to see some of you there as well. And yeah, a great little game of rugby there. Just to let you know, I think Libbok is probably going to get man of the match, I reckon. It'll be Libbok or it'll be Clayton Blommetjies. I reckon probably Manie Libbok, who was class today as well. So, yeah, great game by Manie Libbok. Great game by Stormers in the first half. Second half, not all that fantastic. Dragons certainly doing a lot better there. But nonetheless, Stormers managing to get that bonus point win, which is always the best possible result. So they will be very happy playing Rabeja. So not a bad result for them away from home, pretty much. I mean, they're home, but not quite. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. Just going to read a couple of final comments here. Stormers should hang on. Well, they did. Well done, Stormers. Have a good feeling you're going to win. When in doubt, you back Stormers by 10 minutes. Not quite sure what you mean by that, but yes, don't doubt the Stormers being able to see out the game. I think is the idea there. But perfect, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. And yeah. That was Stormers versus Dragons. You've been watching Forever Sports with our partners BetCoza and ExpressVPN. Just a reminder, you can go and watch our channel and go and see other videos by the channel on a regular basis to go and see what the rugby world is doing, basically. And also to go and see how you can watch these games, some of them for free, and how you can watch them using ExpressVPN and our partners and things. Indeed, yeah, it is Manie Libbok who's receiving the Man of the Match award. Yeah, just to confirm that. So, yeah. Perfect, guys. Thank you very much, and hope you enjoyed. You've been watching me, Mark, on Forever Sports and Forever Rugby. Till then, cheers, guys.